Hello, everyone, and welcome to continuing coverage of the United States Bowling Congress Masters. We're on the second day of competition, and we're fired up here on the 130 squad. My name is Mike Flanagan, working this week with Bowl TV team, and I flew solo on the first block here today, so I appreciate everybody tuning in for that. But this particular block, I'm honored to be able to be on the call today with none other than Matt Cannizzaro. We all know him as That's the News for now, and let's bring him in now. Matt, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing all right, Michael. How are you? I was tuned in earlier. I was listening. All your hard work, very much appreciated.
Yeah, it was a good block. You know, we got real lucky. We got DJ Archer shot 289 out of the gate right here, right in front of us, just right next door on lanes 45 and 46. So DJ Archer had a nice block. But, you know, we've seen a consistent thing here, Matt, and I know you saw this yesterday as you were on the broadcast all day long, is the first three games is where you kind of get your scores, and then you just kind of got to hang on for dear life for most of the leaders.
Yeah, we saw that with our tournament leader last night. AJ Johnson said exactly that. His focus, which kind of caught me off guard, actually, was on the first three games, really, because once you get to match play, and sometimes you don't want to think too far ahead, right? But, matches are 3 games. So if you can kind of come up with a good strategy at that point, the goal is to go out and get what you could for those 3 games, have a good game plan in mind, and then that's when the transition came in. But typically, you're not going to see that transition later in the event. So it was an interesting thought process, and he did see something odd in Game 4, and we'll be working on that coming into today. But ended up the overall leader was able to get back on track and finish strong. So interested to see how the folks learn from what they experienced yesterday or from watching other players right here on Bowl TV, and we'll see if the scores reflect any of the hard work from some of the best in the world overnight.
Yeah, so let's head out to the lanes. I think I figured out how to get everything working here after my morning squad. So we'll head on out to the lanes. It looks like we've got. Let me go ahead and full screen this for everybody. Got lanes 51 and 52 for you, and we're working on switching it over right now. There we go. That's who I was looking for, Matthew. Andrew Anderson. He's supposed to join us tonight in the booth. Former Masters champion, bowling with Trent Mitchell and Joseph Calport. I want to welcome in all of our viewers and everyone here into the chat. Those of you that are looking for specific players that you want to watch here today, they will be crossing throughout the entire bowling center. So your favorite players will be able to be watched on our 8 different channels that we have here on Bowl TV. Again, I always like to say that if you're just joining us for the first time this week, which I know some folks do come in late or just subscribe as the week goes on, there's a plethora of information over at bowl.com. You just head over to bowl.com and you click on the tournaments tab. You go to short duration and click on the Masters. Over there, you can see all the qualifying standings. You can follow the bracket throughout the tournament when we get there. You can also look at lane pairings, what lanes your favorite bowlers are going to be on throughout all of the qualifying. You can also check out the lane topography if that's kind of your thing. There's a lot of information over there. And taking a look at the standings here. As I bring this up here over on bowl.com. We saw Jason Sterner this morning post 10:51 for his 5 games. Jason Sterner bowled 11:01 his first 5 games. He's your tournament leader at plus 152. Currently in second, and bowling on this squad is Adam A.J. Johnson at plus 112. So it'll be interesting to see if A.J. can go 40 over and surpass Sterner, as yesterday there was a lot of squad equality at the top of the leaderboard. Also on B squad this morning, Anthony Simonson posted a 1074 to take him to plus 107. DJ Archer 1080, and that was after a 289 start, so he was 9 under his other 4 games, sits at plus 90 in a nice position. Chris Prather this morning bowled 1076 to improve to plus 84. EJ Tackett bowled 1,000 even to get to plus 83, or stay at 83, I should say. Michael Martell 1021 to get to plus 73. Steve Klimpkin posted a 1016 to get to plus 55. So you can follow all your favorite players over at bowl.com. You can check it out. And we also have live scoring for you as well. So you can take a look at all the different pairs. We keep an eye on that throughout our broadcast, so we can kind of keep you updated with what's going on, and we can keep an eye out if there would be any possible 300 game. But thus far, no 300s here. We had our closest attempt with DJ Archer in game number 1 on the last squad.
Michael, you've done your homework. You know where to find everything. You got the stream going. I think you'll be a suitable replacement. What do you think? You ready to step in full time? Do this?
Negative, sir. Negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is full, and we got Top Gun 2 coming out on July 4th this year. So if anybody from Paramount Studios, Jerry Bruckheimer, Tony Scott, the late Tony Scott, wasn't able to be part of that particular film, but Don Simpson, the whole crew, we'd love to have you as a sponsor here in bowling. So we'll promote that Top Gun 2 movie for you. Andrew Anderson, he loves attention. He loves it, and we got him up on our featured pair here to start today. He's got a double, and I don't know for sure, but I did see one in his hand. That thing looks like it's at about 50 grit. Maybe they used the old screen they used to use back in the day, or maybe they just took a rock to it. But it looks like a blue hammer.
It sure does.
And I know every time you hear a blue hammer, Matt, and you think of this building and you think of this tournament, I know you get your ears perk up and you get a little excited about that.
That really is true. I never actually had the opportunity to throw one myself, but I feel that it's forever tied to one particular bowler. And as you said, a very special event, the 2002 USBC Masters. And that ball came into play for him over the next decade. Also, often in that building, as Mr. Brett Wolf has found continued success at the Open Championships as well. And the blue hammer, his weapon of choice for knocking over many of those pins. But a legend. That ball is nearly as legendary as the Del Ballard Jr. blue hammer. So,
blue hammer?
Blue hammer.
Yeah, I just called Andrew over, which is probably a party foul again, but it is indeed a blue hammer.
That's pretty interesting because on my screen, Andrew was just throwing the ball on lane 49. So you're telling the future again.
I'm on a little bit of a delay, but I didn't give away the end result.
Pretty nice result though. 3 out of 4.
Yeah, it sure is. He said 1985, baby, is what he said, which is not the year that he was born. So looking at this pair, looking at the numbers coming in, Trent Mitchell here, minus 114. with a nice block here, he can put himself in contention to make the bracket. You know, we estimate this bracket score is going to be somewhere around even, roughly, through as many games we've seen thus far. And Joseph Calcourt, you know, he's minus 12. You know, he's in a nice spot also coming into this block. You know, even par, just a few under yesterday was a good score out here.
Well, we knew that coming out of the practice session, right? How many times did the ball reps, all they had to say was, this pattern is hard, this is hard, and even certainly a good goal. I mean, for me and you, that's probably always the goal. But for this week, the best in the world, definitely satisfied with the 200 game.
Yeah, currently right now that cut line, the top 64, obviously you got to make room for Buttriff, who is 20 under outside of the top 64. So 63rd spot right now is minus 16. And after yesterday, it was minus 10. So that's where we come up with our prediction of right around even. Here's double A. His ball down lane is about 4 boards right of the dark rangefinder. You can see the rangefinder's down lane. That's an area I like to look at when I'm watching bowling, and I'm not sure everybody else does, but if you look at where the ball's coming off the end of the pattern, where it's exiting off the end of the pattern, gives you a really good idea of what their bowling ball is going to do when it finds those rangefinders down lane. So Andrew Anderson with a possible 278 here to start, which I would love to see, because then that would put me averaging around 283 or so for the first game on Bowl TV for the high game on the pairs that I picked. I did have a couple people say, you know, Mike, you've got an infatuation with Norm Duke. I guess now that Pete Weber has retired, because it used to be Pete Weber. And Norm Duke is right by me here in the booth. And I chose Andrew Anderson's pair over Norm Duke. So I just want to strike that on the record. If you want to watch Norm Duke, don't forget we got 8 channels. Head on over to 45 and 46. He's bowling with Packy Hanrahan and Dallas Leong. And that pair's off to a pretty good start through 4.5 frames.
So, Mike, in talking to the players throughout the day so far today, do you feel like many of them learned anything yesterday and they're ready to put that to use, or are some just giving in and rolling over at this point? It's still very early, but what is the general mood in the National Bowling Stadium so far today?
The overall thing here, man, Andrew, that was another good shot, is just move your feet and your eyes parallel in just a couple of boards. That's kind of been the thing for most players. Now, not all players. You know, we got 220 plus here, but you know, that's what they're looking at. They're looking at watching other players bowl right here on Bowl TV. See what's happening out there, and a lot of guys are getting their scores depending on your rev rate, your speed, obviously, anywhere from the 7th board to about the 13th board, out just right of that rangefinder. And I would say 75% of the field is having the most success with urethane.
Well, urethane is such an interesting discussion, and of course, you're either on very far on one side of that fence or the other, but not a lot of folks right in the middle.
Yeah, I was trying to come up with an analogy for the ridiculous debate over urethane. You know, urethane was something that was awesome in the 80s. You know, when the urethane came out, you know, every bowler had to have it. And if you looked at, you know, house ball racks, you see some of them there now, but you used to be able to find a Cobra, a Black UDOT, a lot of these different urethane balls, a Nitro. Everybody owned the same balls, and it was like amazing. It was a celebration. And nowadays, you hear today's modern athletes say, oh, man, they need to ban urethane, right? And I was trying to come up with an analogy. I guess it would be like if a bunch of people were driving around on the interstate in Model Ts, Model Ts were great when they came out, but technology's kind of passed it by, I guess. And I'm sure you'd get frustrated if you were out on the highway and a Model T was going about 35 miles an hour in the fast lane. But at the same time, it's still getting them where they need to go. So how can you give them a hard time? Not my best analogy ever, but I thought at least maybe one or two people would get a chuckle out of that one, as we are in the middle of qualifying right now. Hey, Andrew, you got another one? Oh, no, I don't, Mike. No, just another 10-pin for you. He's throwing it good, though, isn't he, Matt?
He's it's got to be that logo on the back of his jersey. Makes him step it up a little bit, because I've seen him throw some pretty great shots while representing Team USA. And, of course, a lot of people have compared this week's pattern in this event to the 2018 Masters in Syracuse. It just has that challenging feel to it. And we know he did pretty well at that event.
Yeah, he bowled like a stud. I mean, let's face it, he bowled awesome. And I asked him, too, earlier. I asked all these weird questions. I said, hey, man, did you bring the Rebel Yell with you? That was the ball he won with. And he goes, it's in the building, Mike. It's in the building. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. So I've been trying to find it on one of these squares out here where all the balls are kept. And I was going to maybe, just kind of scare him a little bit, hide it under the table up here. It's a well bowled game by Andrew.
A couple doubles, filling frames. That's really the keys to success. Don't need any big scores. I mean, it certainly helps, but if you can plug along, throw 3 or 4 games like this, catch a double or 2 or 3 in a row. I mean, the ultimate goal, of course, get to the top 64. It does not matter what position.
The ball return on 50. The ball return on 50.
We'll see if Andrew picks this up right here, this 2-4-10. Kind of lined it up like a putt pretty well right there, but didn't quite take care of it. Let's see. What else can we do here? Let's move this over to here, me and Matt, and let's add another Matt just to confuse things. I'd like to welcome in Matt Russo at this time. Matt, you got a copy?
Wow, surprise.
Yeah, going. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, gotcha.
Fantastic.
So, Flanagan, you could have given me a heads up. Not only am I not the coolest and most successful Matt on the broadcast, or left-hander. I mean, what have I got left?
I'm switching pairs real quick. I got to go over and check on Norm. He's got a triple. He just balked a minute ago, so I wanted to bring that up. But Matt Russo, welcome to the broadcast. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me so we can talk about how hard they are.
How's
everything going over there, Mike?
I'm pretty comfortable in this chair right here. Everything seems to be working this block, so that's a positive. And we're cruising along here. Let's just put it that way. Matt, Matt Russo, tell us about your experience yesterday here in the National Bowling Stadium. What'd you see?
Well, it's the first time I ever bowled in the National Bowling Stadium. I've never actually thrown a shot. So it's just a little bit of trying to get to know what was going on across the house. Obviously, we had practice, but it was very different than we've ever seen before. So it was more of just trying to stay loose and get a look at the lanes. And yesterday was a lot of different. And I thought the high end of the stadium is a lot different than the low end of the stadium. So when I made that jump down there, I didn't bowl very well. So I got to minus 10, and I was like, man, it feels like I went 20 over. It was minus 10. And today, just had the game that we were watching last night. And saw something different just watching Gold TV, and I tried that and got 45 over. So 45 over for the tournament. Pretty happy with that, honestly. Super hard and scores are low, and I've missed the whole round, except for the 2 gutters that I had. But
Matt, I think you got a little bit of an internet connection there. Or is it just me? Canizero, are you dealing with the same thing?
Yeah, I couldn't hear too much of that, unfortunately. But the downside of technology, well, there's upsides at the same time, I suppose.
yeah, can you hear me now?
Here's what I recommend, Matt. Why don't you exit out of the studio and reconnect to your Wi-Fi there or whatever it is you have for an internet connection. Come back on. We'll bring you back on the screen. Sometimes that fixes the issue. All right, so we'll bring Matt Russo in a minute. I made out most of what he said there. I believe he said that was the first time he's bowled in a National Bowling Stadium. Is that right, Matt?
I knew that coming in. I had caught up with him last week, and I found it amazingly hard to believe, but I guess the timing would work out, right? Just based on that he's a youngster and fresh out of college and just now getting to the adult bowling events. And, not a lot of non-USBC events head to the National Bowling Stadium, so it totally ended up making sense. But certainly you think that would be a destination for him, someplace he'd want to get to as often as possible.
I don't mind technology issues. We just work through them here. So let's bring him back in. There he is. What are you drinking there?
Oh, this is the greatest thing ever. It's an iced vanilla latte from Starbucks.
Okay, well I made that out just fine.
All right. So is that how it works? One good block and you're already living the high life, having Starbucks.
Yeah, is my connection better or no?
We'll roll. We'll see how we do. I can hear everything you said so far. I mean, Norm Duke's over here just putting on a show here.
Yeah, Matt, we spent a lot of money at Starbucks so far. Got the idea to download the app, thanks to Lauren, and Andrew and I have been addicted to iced vanilla lattes and cinnamon coffee.
That's tour life in the 2020s, Michael Flanagan. Starbucks.
Yeah, I'm looking at live scoring, guys, because normally kind of the high scores come out of the first game, and Jacob Buttriff off to a good start, can still bowl 269. Let's see what else I can see. I had a Bill O'Neill reporting from the chat here. Belmo's working on 268, headed into the ninth. Tim Grundler from St. Louis, nice kid. I know that kid very well. Spare, 6-bagger. Spare open, so he can bowl 240. Robarge can bowl 259. He's second shot in the 10th. You know, lefties, man, they just got the world. Let's see. 236 for Joe Leichner has a chance still in the 10th frame. Bill O'Neill actually had front 7, then he opened, doubled 6-3 for 251. That game is over. So 251 on the board for Bill O'Neill.
I think we're going to see some of those runs from the bottom here in this block. I think this spot's the strongest spot.
So Matt Russo, you opened up with 990. I was looking here at your scores, 990, and then today came in and bowled 1045 this morning. Pretty consistent across the board. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I left about 40-some pins out there. I had 238 going into the 10th of game 4, and I threw it in the gutter. So I bowled 190. But other than that, yeah, I'm pretty content. I felt like I had to get to plus today. It's the second day. It's a moving day. Obviously, the lanes aren't getting easier. So I just felt like I had to get to plus. And, yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with plus 35. I feel like I'm in a good spot for tomorrow.
Let's get a look at Norm Duke here. I want to kind of see where he's crossing. Packy would get out of the way. He's further out. He's out around 4 or 5 from what I can tell. Be interesting to see how that works for Norm.
I know Andrew was talking to me last night while we were in the hotel room. He said he was going to try and play similar to what Norm was doing. He felt like Norm bowled the best he's seen in a while. So it'll be interesting to see how long Norm can stay out there and see who else tries to do that.
I personally believe that the look is just a little left of where Norm is, but I'm obviously not going to sit here and tell you that Norm Duke's playing the lanes wrong. That was a little inside a target. Yeah, that was closer to like 5, the high hard one right there.
Well, I'd say based on the fact that his score starts with a 2, I think he's perfectly in the right place and probably pretty satisfied with that. Not sure how much better you can get at that point.
I think that's a really weak, like, pearl form ball with a bunch of surface. Looks like it might be like an electrified pearl, which is interesting play. A lot of guys are throwing some weaker balls with a bunch of surface.
Great opportunity to bring it back into the booth here as we get ready to head into game number 2. It will take the players just a moment to switch from lane to lane as they do bowl on fresh the first 2 games, which is a really unique situation here. Matt Russo, have you ever bowled an event where your first 2 games are on fresh?
Some people say yes. I say no. Only reason why is because I'm left-handed. But no, I think that's what's making it hard, though. It's like you get the 7.5 minutes to practice on that pair, so you can kind of break them down a little bit. But then that oil sits there. So, yeah, I mean, I like it. I think it's to me, it feels like an advantage. But some people don't like it because, you know, if they don't have a good look on the fresh, like the fresh, then you're, digging for some ball reaction. But I think it's unique, and I think we'll see how it plays out tomorrow with the final oil of qualifying, and they get a little bit tighter, and I think they're starting to hook a little bit more in the front as well. So that plays to how you break them down, and if you decide to get lined up on that first pair, or just break them down.
Well, yeah, hey everybody, this is a great opportunity to take a moment and just talk about everything we have going on here at Bull TV the rest of the week. And don't forget, next week we got the US Open coming up as well. There's our schedule of when we'll be on the air, and then also don't forget, coming up here shortly, right around the corner, April 22nd through the 24th, we re-kick off the 2021 PWBA schedule here with the Twin Cities Open. And if you're a Bull TV subscriber, you get access to all these great events coming up, along with the collegiate season as well, coming to a close. Aaron Smith working on a selection show. I don't know if that's aired or not yet. Matt, can you help me out with that, Mr. Canizero?
My understanding, it's later this evening. So he's behind the scenes working hard, getting that ready, and all the details. I know something near and dear to Mr. Russo's heart. I'm sure he's looking forward to seeing where or if Weber International is headed to the postseason.
Yeah, I haven't really been following it too much this year. Obviously, with everything going on, there's been a lot. It'll be interesting to see who goes where again. I see Calumet's number 1, so we'll see if Weber gets in, and technically they are defending again, so we shall see what happens.
Well, as we get ready for this next game, Matt, we're talking about the fact, obviously, you had success in college, and now you've moved on. You're growing up on the PBA tour, getting ready to get married down the road. Aaron and I will be looking for those invitations as well. But you also had another big development for you in recent months, too, and that was equipment-wise, right? You got to switch it up a little bit one more time. And so coming into the season, probably a lot of things had to happen for you to get ready, and some stuff you already were familiar with. So I think a great benefit there, of course. And then, we've talked a lot about equipment choices for this week so far. So as we're getting ready to see these guys attack this pair in game 2, Tell us about some of your choices. I understand, the urethane conversation always in play. It's a safe way to attack things. I know I heard through the grapevine you came across a fresh black hammer at some point in the recent past. And so maybe that has come into play so far this week. But what have you done to find success? And is it what you thought it would be coming out of the practice session?
Practice session, they were tough. I really had nothing, essentially. I had some urethane look, and it was okay. I got very lucky. I found 2 black hammers, one of them being the daddy black hammer is what I call it. And I drilled one, and it rolled pretty good. They're getting a little bit tighter down the lane, so it's hard to get that ball to do something once it picks up. So I've thrown it a little bit on the first game. Basically been using purple the whole time. I've thrown the same purple both days, just 2 different looks essentially. But when I signed Guide with DV8, I knew that I was going to have to throw the ball again, and pretty excited. I think that ball is super beneficial to have, especially if you're left-handed. And for times like this, especially, it's really hard, and that ball just to get a look at something and be able to use it across the board. But yeah, a lot of urethane. I've thought about throwing reactors a couple times, only because I've seen my urethane ball react going down the lane. But I've stuck with it. I played them very similar to how Packy's playing them right now. Whereas yesterday I was a little bit further left trying to get it to come on too. It wasn't the greatest. So it's been a lot of urethane, a lot of purple hammer, and hopefully that continues tomorrow and into next.
Well, we know this event especially, really 2 tournaments in one, right? The goal just to get into the top 64 no matter what it takes. However you can get there, it doesn't matter the score as all pins go away, and then it's head-to-head matches. So a little bit of a mental challenge there as well. You're not chasing the leader. You're not trying to make a step ladder. So maybe a little bit less pressure, different pressure. Tell us about that and your experience with this event and the format, and not unlike some of your collegiate experience with the brackets and the match play and such.
Yeah, I think it's a totally different mindset. I told myself this year when I went out on tour that I was just going to stay very patient and just get really good at shooting spares. That's ultimately really what I do every time I go out there. And I know the strikes will come, but ultimately what gets you there is spare shooting and staying patient. Ultimately, all you got to do with this tournament is get into the bracket. To get to the top 64, it's a new ball game. It doesn't really matter if you're 1 of 64. Obviously, you want to be towards the higher seeds for lane choice. But I think once you get into the bracket, it's anybody's game essentially. So I've just told them I just want to get in, but I also just want to stay very patient. I know that the lanes are hard, and not every ball is going to strike. They just minimize penalties and maximize the spares as much as I can. So I've been very content with how I've handled things so far, and just continuing that mindset. Obviously, it's a lot looking at everybody, bowling big games sometimes, but just more focusing on myself and continuing to do what I want to do and let me do what the lane is telling me, other than trying to force it to do something different. But yeah, this is a whole separate event. You just have to get in, and once you get in, anybody can win a match and get there.
So now you started 2020 with a win at Team USA Trials. You were ready to go. It was time. The PBA Tour was there for you, and obviously we know what happened at that point. Momentum slowed things down a little bit, but you went on to win Rookie of the Year honors in the region, right? So things went well. Have they gone as well as you'd hoped overall? And now being that all these majors are jam-packed into the first couple months of the season, coming off of various things around the country, some people bowling more than others. How do you feel now coming into these first few events in 2021 are coming from them now to these two huge ones at the National Bowling Stadium?
I felt pretty good. A little bit disappointing finish at the Players Championship. Bowled really good for 3 blots and just really couldn't get anything going on sharp. I had a feeling I was going to need a little bit more pins before we got to sharp, to at least have some sort of buffer there to stay on the show. But overall, very satisfied with how I bowled there. Everything was very good, so I definitely commended myself when I got bad before we started the major swing to be better at spares and just be more confident. And then we get to the TOC, and I didn't bowl the TOC. I bowled the qualifier. I really didn't have much in the qualifier. Couldn't get anything going. So then I decided to go take a trip to Kendall, work with Ruben, who's been a coach of mine since I went to Weber, and he helped me with some physical things. I moved up on the approach, just shortened my approach a little bit to compact my game and be a little bit more consistent. And ever since then, really, really good. World Series of Bowling, I bowled pretty good. They weren't easy, at least from what I thought. I made top 16, finished 44th in the World Championship. So definitely a solid performance. And this week I'm just looking forward to continuing, a little bit of success. Obviously, I want to win. I want to make a TV show. But I'm just more looking forward to just keep bowling well. This is one of my favorite events because it has a bracket and anybody can win in and once you get there. But it was tough after last year. Things slowed down, and looking forward to team trials again this year. Hoping to win again and go to the World Cup. But it was better that everybody stayed safe. So I'm just continuing to stay sharp on the lanes and just gaining more and more knowledge as we go along. It's a lot of learning. So just continuing to do that, and maybe I'll get to be on TV here soon.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, Matt. We would love to see that happen. You're obviously a great young talent out here, and we'd like to see you continue to have a great week and maybe see you all the way through the bracket, and it'll be fun to follow your journey. We're going to let you go at this point in time. The connection's iffy, but we appreciate you spending some time with us today here on Bowl TV. You're welcome back anytime, and we'll see you here in the bowling center tomorrow, man. Great bowling so far.
Thank you very much. You guys have a good day, and Mike, I'll see you tomorrow.
That's right. All right, everybody, that's Matt Russo joining us. We really appreciate the players taking the time to do so. If you're watching this and you are one of the players in the field and you would like to get on the Bowl TV broadcast, reach out to one of us, and we can probably make that happen to some degree as long as we don't get too many requests. So I'm keeping it here right now, Matt, for just a couple of frames, and then I am going to switch over to Spencer Robarge's pair. I know we've had some requests for that, and we'll feature Spencer as this is his first event here at the USBC Masters.
Yeah, we've definitely had a chance to see Spencer grow up pretty much on Bowl TV and on CBS Sports Network. So looking forward to seeing him in action and talking a little bit about his young career once we get over to that pair. And right now, continuing to see Norm Duke do Norm Duke things.
It's fun watching Packy too. You got this youngster who likes to kind of be the practical jokester, and then you've got the all business Norm Duke, and then you got Dallas Leong, who's just kind of there as a spectator watching it all happen. Oh boy, Norm is almost to the arrows, folks. I don't know what bothered him there.
It was probably us.
Oh yeah, it has to be. Yeah, I am within earshot. Oh boy. All right, Norm, let's make a good shot here. Now keep in mind, Norm's playing around the fifth board. They're a little outside of it sometimes. Oh, that's it, like 7 or 8. Yep, that's a crossover for Norm. I hate to leave the fun here, but we are gonna move elsewhere. Okay, Matt, I'll let you set up this pair right here.
All right, let's see what we got. Cameron Crowe. I was just about to type his name into a Word document. Actually, the Team USA, Junior Team USA member, the U.S. Amateur Champion in 2020, was on his way to a spectacular year. Kicked it off with that win at the team trials with Matt Russo, and was a freshman at St. Ambrose. Headed to sectionals and potentially to the intercollegiate team championships when COVID happened to us. But now we're a little bit ways down the road, and he's still moving and shaking collegiately. We'll find out this afternoon where his team is headed in the postseason. But his first big national event since coming into the spotlight in 2020. And of course, now Spencer Robards, you mentioned him, the youngster. Get to see photos of him finding success on the lanes he's only 18 right now, but going back a decade already. A lot of success, junior gold champ, a record holder with USBC for most 300 games by a youth bowler in his career. Also a junior Team USA member. Multiple titles, the USA Bowling National Championships as a team player. So not only an individual, but a team star as well. Headed to Wichita State, I believe, is the final decision for him coming up next year. So a top young talent going to make some big things happen many, many years to come with the two-handed style and the college shoe pants.
Yeah, this kid can just flat out play. Let me tell you, he's from Missouri. He's kind of from the center part of the country where I'm from, and it looks like he's wrapped in yarn. Everybody in his outfit today. But yeah, you just mentioned Kyle Troop, Matt, and that's exactly what I was going to kind of transition to here. He's got a personality out of this world, and I do believe that he and Kyle Troop are probably have the most exciting outfits I've ever seen in bowling outside of Guppy, of course.
Well, those guys, I'm sure, an inspiration for the youngsters and their great personalities. And I think one of my big disappointments for the last 12 months was not getting to travel and spend time with these young players with Junior Team USA. We had a handful of events on the schedule to where they really could have learned and showcased. And those trips were just so much fun. Just even the off the lanes part, just getting to know the personalities and what the players are all about beyond just big scores, and then being able to tell those stories and and see them in the environments that we get to go to, seeing Solomon and Anthony Nyer and Mabel and Cameron at the Eiffel Tower in Paris, and just the eye-opening opportunities that come with being part of that program. And certainly feel like we missed a lot of that over the last year, and looking forward to getting back to it. And we'd be remiss, of course, if we didn't mention Rocio Restrepo on this pair as well. Multi-time PWBA Tour champion, also a past standout at Wichita State. She's kind of done it all, represents Team Columbia at those international events. And out here getting sharp for the PWBA Tour, which is right around the corner, isn't it, Michael?
Yes, it is. It is right around the corner. We've been putting out our promo for that. I think one of my favorite speeches ever delivered in bowling is when Rocio won. What was the event that she won where she delivered that inspirational address to all the young ladies out there that are aspiring to be professional bowlers.
I do remember the speech early in the resurgence of the PWBA tour, and I think the culmination of years of hard work and dreams. Right, that's what it's all about.
It sure is, and she's an awesome bowler. Jillian Martin, who we've all kind of got to know as a household name, that's who she looks up to, is Rocio. She wants to be just like Rocio. That's the most inspiring bowler to her. She told me when we talked at the PWBA Kickoff Classic. So just speaks to what Rocio what she stands for. And who knows? It might have been that post game speech that spoke to Jillian and may have inspired her to do what she's doing today.
Many of the players certainly have embraced the opportunity to be role models, right? It's more than just going out there and winning prize money, and they recognize that and the appreciation on the PWBA tour that they have for the opportunity to go out and compete and know that it's far more than just bowling. And I think all of these players, great ambassadors for the sport, proudly wearing their logos, and in Cameron's case here is the Team USA jersey that we'll see across this event. I actually got a message from Katie Barton, who I believe was responsible for securing those jerseys for the players. She's the team manager for Team USA. So very cool that they're able to wear that and kind of showcase that special part that some people don't realize.
Oh, that's inside a target. Nice break.
So the left-handed two-handers, all the rage these first couple games here today. We saw Packy and now Cameron and Spencer. And now JT.
Hi. Yeah, I'm not a left-handed two-hander, but
There's still time. Still time.
It seems like a good style. I just wanted to give a quick update. I was setting up the live stream before this round, and Cameron Crowe came by and said hi, and also asked what time the sectional show was on tonight, because he was very much hoping that he would be able to finish bowling and catch the sectional show before it started. And so I told him what time it was. He said, wow, it's just like right as we were going to be finishing. Do you mind if I hang around here and watch on one of your computers? And I was like, absolutely, man, totally. He's like, oh, that's awesome. So he's got his mind, as much on, finding out where he's going to be going for ITC sectionals as he is on bowling the Masters.
What did you let him know if he throws more strikes, they'll get done faster and he'll be able to get comfortable?
He bowled. He had 4-baggers spared double to start game one, and ended up shooting 192. So a little bit of a rough end, but Spencer Robar shot 250, 258, I believe, that first game, and is, I think, in second overall. So he was my pick for amateur, if you guys remember that little game we played the other day. So I think I might be leading in the clubhouse there. But Cameron was your pick, and he's doing well also. He's plus 12.
I have a feeling we're going to be talking to or about some of these young players throughout the week, and they're going to be the subjects of, I'm sure, some pretty awesome matches once they get to match play, and maybe some upsets. And it's going to be a lot of fun watching them, succeed as youngsters, and then see what they have in store for us down the road too.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys have talked about it, but Rocio Restrepo and her husband Joe are both in the cut currently. So that would, I believe, unless Dell and Carolyn made the cut together. I know Carolyn's made the cut here at the Masters, but I'm pretty sure that would be a first time a husband and wife both made the cut in the same tournament. Matt's. I can see you're plugging. You're typing away furiously.
Always fact checking. That is a definite upside of being able to work from this command center at home with the surrounded by monitors and the internet and all the questions you were asking yesterday. Google is right there for me. So
he's plugging it into the USBC NCIS machine to see if that spits out a positive or a negative.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would, if I had to bet on it, which there's no betting at the Masters, but if I had to bet, I would bet that would be the first time that's ever happened.
See, the wheels are turning. All the husbands and wives that potentially could have made that happen. The list will be short for sure. There certainly is Carolyn and Dell being top of that list. I wouldn't put it past Chris and Linda Barnes, though I don't know that I've seen Linda at the Masters.
Certainly has won the Queens, but they don't let Chris bowl that one.
So, but thanks, JT, for popping in for 2 minutes and giving me homework. I appreciate
you're
that.
welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. But I thought you guys would find that interesting.
These two lefties got some talent here, Matt. A couple of nice games being bowled right here. Only one open.
But they have grown up, Mike, bowling on these challenging patterns, and they understand the importance of accuracy and spare shooting. Cameron bowling in the DeAndrews events, right? The Elite Youth Tour.
Yep.
Coming up in the Chicago area. And then Spencer pretty much gets to everything. Has had great success at the Storm Youth Championships and all their great events around the country as well. And, the USA Bowling, as we mentioned, but all of those events featuring the challenging lane conditions. So this is normal. These guys probably get frustrated bowling on a house shot. It's just not challenging enough. It's no fun.
Yeah, we don't have a standings update yet after game number one, which we should have shortly, according to my records here. I could be wrong here, but Spencer Robarge is going to the lead right now.
And I'll just pop in and say he's my pick. But the reason there's no standings, there was a breakdown in game one, so there's one set of lanes that's a little behind, so that's the holdup on the standings. But yeah, I mean, Spencer Robarge, I was asked recently by a company outside to rank some of the top young talent, and his name, of course, was on the list. And they asked me a little bit of background on him, and I said he's basically like a pro already. He's got the record for most 300 games, but if you listen to him talk, he talks the game just like he's been on tour for 20 years already. He's got all the knowledge, all the lingo. He's basically tour ready right now. And then you just got to get those pesky college years out of the way, and he'll be right out here pounding these guys. But I'm sure these guys are happy to have him not be out on tour for the next 4 years, so they can get an extra paycheck every week. Except at the Masters.
Well, 30 large in the old smart account would be a nice way to start off 2021 for Mr.
How many years at Wichita State would that pay for? Maybe a year and a half, 2?
That'd be a good chunk. I'm sure he's got a few dollars already in the account as well from 6 years of domination.
But
what would make a great pay-per-view match? Like a 10-game pay-per-view match for scholarship money, and all the people logging in is what the bowlers are bowling for scholarship. Jillian Martin versus Spencer Robarge.
Yeah, that would be great. Didn't they bowl on the? Yeah. It's already happened. Somebody else had the idea. Sorry.
Yeah, but they threw pros in there.
It reminds me of a George Carlin quote. I'm ahead of my time. The problem is I'm only about 2 minutes ahead. Let's see if Cameron Crowe can finish this game off. As I mentioned, he stumbled a little bit at the end of game one and probably was kicking himself a little bit because he had a possible 270 going into the eighth and ended up going backwards for 192. Oh, the nasty messenger.
Yeah, that's the bird dog off the sidewall there.
That was dirty.
Great stuff. And we do have standings up after 6 games for this squad. So we mentioned Jason Sterner already, the overall leader at plus 152. Robars has already gone around him. He was at 142 coming into this game. And
Yeah, he
has
157.
Has bowled 215. So Spencer taking the overall lead. And I remember, was it last year? 2019? I don't know what year it is right now, but Solomon Salama, right? Leading the way at the Masters.
Right. Yes.
He lead qualifying entirely.
Yes.
So another young left-hander, two-hander, sensation, Junior Team USA. So it seems to be a trend. But more youth success. So Spencer, AJ Johnson hanging in there. He was plus 94, had a little bit of a slow start today. Belmo making moves. He started with 268 to get to plus 90 overall. He's done okay at this event over the years. Norm Duke at plus 87 after his 223 start. Michael Holloman, the runner-up in 2019 at plus 75. So some folks putting up some big numbers, and as Mike pointed out earlier, it's those first couple games, right, where you're fresh, some big scores coming, and then it's the folks who figure out that transition around game 4 who really have an opportunity to make a move.
Yeah, and certainly we talked about it last night when C Squad came out and hit them a little better than the rest of the field had the rest of the day, and it's certainly looking like it's going to take more than plus to make this cut. So the players have figured something out. The interesting thing was I asked Sean Ryan a little while ago, are the players out there today trying something a little different based on what they saw last night? And he said, not really, but you'll see that definitely tomorrow. Tomorrow's the day when it's just all bets are off and people will start taking some big risks. But I think for the most part today, people are still trying to grind it out. You not throw their tournament away with 150 under block. But tomorrow you'll start to see some players trying some different things.
Hey guys, Andrew Anderson, 257 down on 1 and 2 just a little bit ago.
Yep, he's crossing from the high to the low, and I gave him a little thumbs up.
Mike Flanagan's favorite pair.
Yeah, it sure is. Norm Duke at 243. Packy 210.
Speaking of phenomenal young lefties, in front of us this game we'll have Anthony Nair. Get a chance to watch him, but I've got to go and change the game of graphics. So,
yeah, you do. Yeah,
we don't want to watch a bunch of empty pairs here in game number 3. So I'll be back.
That's one of the tricky things here for us here at Bull TV coverage, or for JT, I should say, because he's the one that does it every game. He has to go through and take the cameras that were on one pair and click the button and update the number across the house across 8 pairs. So he's going to do that for us. So I guess because he called it out, I guess we'll go over to that pair. I'm actually capable of fixing that one myself because it's right here. So we're going to head over to lanes 45 and 46. I'll get that up for you, and I'll get it changed over. I got it changed in just the nick of time, and then we wait about 10 seconds, and then we'll be back synced up together, Matthew.
It's important to be in sync.
I think this is an appropriate time, since there's nothing going on in the lane until it switches over, to just let everybody know. Oh, wait, I'll wait and talk about that later, everybody. Remind me, Matt. Got a little story to tell. There's Anthony Nyer with the strike out of the gate. We got Mitch Houpe, Anthony Nyer, Terrence Allen, Casey Usugi. Did I say that correctly, Matt?
I'm going to agree with you. Yes.
Casey Usugi. And Mitch Houpe. Mitch Houpe is plus 36. Casey's minus 146. Anthony Nyer is 92. And Terrence Allen is struggling a little bit today. And yesterday. But we're happy to have him out here competing, and I'm sure he's learning a lot that he can take home and help improve his game.
Certainly surrounded by some great players for these 15 games. I have had the pleasure of watching continued success from Mr. Houpe, including a team title at the National Bowling Stadium at the 2016 USBC Open Championships. There's your fact of the day, Mike.
On the Dan Patrick Show, they go, stat of the day, stat of the day, what, stat of the day, stat of the day. Here comes that what? Stat of the day. So there you go. I was also, before the squad, a little giddy. Not working on a whole lot of sleep, and I was actually kind of thinking that we should get somebody to redo Elmo's song. Are you familiar with Elmo's song, Matt?
I'm sure if you sang it and I heard it, then I'll be like, oh, I remember that from my childhood many years ago.
Yeah, it goes like, this is the song, Elmo's song, right? It goes something like that. You ever heard that one?
It does sound familiar.
So I was thinking what we could have done before this block, but I didn't feel like doing it, but I'll do it now, is this is the squad, Belmo squad. What'd you think of that?
I see what you did there.
Elmo?
Very, very clever.
That ain't bad. Meanwhile, our viewership just went down.
I can't see the numbers here, so I'm going to take your word. You got that there, so you have the control.
Actually, I don't. I don't. I don't know how many people we got watching, but hey, why don't you do us a favor, everybody that's watching on Bowl TV here in the chat? Let us know where you're from, and let us know who your pick to win the Masters is.
So I pretend it's just you and me having a conversation, talking about bowling, talking about Anthony Nyer and all of his success. And then perhaps if everybody in the chat goes and tells somebody else to come and watch Bowl TV, well then we can have quite the group by the end of the day.
I'm sure we could, and you know, the thing about Nyer that I bet some of our audience doesn't have any idea is that his father bowled on tour. Andy Nyer bowled on tour, and I don't remember how many tour titles he had, but I believe it was more than one.
It actually was only one.
Was it really? Was it in St. Louis?
Oh, now you're testing me.
I'm pretty sure it was in St. Louis at Tropicana Lanes, and then I just said that he's got more than one because I can't believe that his only title I was there to watch.
Well, to be fair, we talked a lot about it when he was making a run at the Senior Masters a couple of years ago. Ended up falling to Walter Ray.
We got folks checking in from New Mexico, New Brunswick, Canada, cheering on Frankie. We got Memphis cheering on Gary Faulkner. Charleston, South Carolina checking in, Tennessee, Ontario, Wisconsin. Wisconsin native living in Oxford, Mississippi. And Rebecca wants to see Jason Sterner win. Got Montana checking in. Utah's picking Jason Belmonte. The Netherlands picking Belmo. Phil Platko's checking in from Las Vegas. So we got people all over the world watching Bull TV here today.
Even more impressive is that you and I are on and they're still watching.
This is pretty cool seeing who everybody's rooting for here. We do have a lot of Norm Duke fans in here. We also got a Michael Holloman fan as well from Little Rock. Dennis Hacker's checking in from the Rock of Gibraltar today. He's pulling for Andrew Anderson. Sean Lee checking in from Reno. Quarantine life, do work.
We need Sean Lee to motivate us. I know he's having a tough week, and hope that everything works out well there. But he's a light. He's a light for us, Michael.
He is. I feel like Tom Bodette used to leave the light on at Motel 6, and Sean Lee, he just keeps the light on all the time.
And speaking of light, to answer your question earlier, it was the 1994 Bud Light Hall of Fame Championship for Mr. Nyer.
Yeah, I was in St. Louis, Tropicana.
Yep, Tropicana Lanes.
I was there. Maybe if he'd have flown me to some other events, he would have won a few more times on tour.
Just a young Mike Flanagan chasing him down for autographs back in 90s.
Don't forget, if you're a new subscriber to Bull TV, we do have 8 different feeds going for you. So if you want to glance around, we've got 39 through 72 or something close to that for you. Nyer certainly gives it the business at the bottom of the swing, that's for sure, and he is flirting with the one board. Mitch Hupay's kind of bowling a similar game to what we saw Chad Roberts do on this pair earlier today. Good shots, just can't knock them all down. Let's go ahead and switch up lanes. Let's go over to 53 and 54, and let's check in on Belmo and A.J. Johnson. Not very good starts for either one of these gentlemen. Through 5 combined frames, no strikes yet. We'll see if we can have the opposite effect of a black cloud. Negatory. So Belmo's struggling here. Let's try to figure out what's going on 53 and 54. Jeff Poston is minus 248 according to my screen. Andrew Hall minus 40. AJ Johnson sits at plus 105, and Belmo's been bowling all right today to get to 119. But this pair quite confusing. Yeah, I was going to say that shot by AJ seemed much further inside a target from where he was playing the lanes yesterday. Much better shot by Belmo there, using reactive resin ball with some surface, it looks like. Folks, I think it's a good opportunity for me to also tell you about something else that's going on here. You know, I'm watching these screens with you guys as well at home. A lot of times you get to watch the competition and call the action, but we're actually watching screens here because of a bit of a delay. And I'm noticing these screens moving around. And all I can tell you is this entire building is like shaking. And it's not bowlers bumping the cameras. It's none of that. It is actually, the floor is shaking and moving. If there happened to be an earthquake that hit Reno, I wouldn't know it. Plus, it was the
you'd know it. You would know it. But yes, there's the train station right next door to the National Bowling Stadium, and that runs underground. So that just means more people coming to town to visit the biggest little city.
Do you think that affects ball reaction?
I don't think so. I think it's pretty sturdy once you get off the concourse there and onto the approaches.
I never even thought about that. You know, they talk about topography here, but I wonder if it's got more to do with the lane shaking.
I think for as much time as I spent in that building, in the settee and on the concourse, I really, it's not noticeable when you're down on the lane. So perhaps all of that taken into consideration.
Belmo goes Brooklyn now. Boy, he's really confused on this pair after making a great shot the last one and not getting a strike. I will say this to your point, Matt. I've done about 6 interviews down there on the lanes, and every single one of my shots have been steady Eddie. No shaking in the shot. So it's just a concourse thing up here.
So, and as far as other mysteries of the National Bowling Stadium, here's the great urban legend. I don't know if you've noticed in your travels and your time there, but the fact that there's 78 lanes of competition, and then in the pro shop area previously before the remodel was lane 81, which innocently enough makes absolutely no sense, right? Why wouldn't it be lane 79? But the urban legend being that the National Bowling Stadium, the setup, the look and feel, based on that of the USBC Open Championships, the convention center transformations that event does every year since 1901, but to bring that into a permanent facility with the high ceilings and the vast concourse and, of course, the famed center aisle. And so when they put the stadium in and did the whole thing, and somebody forgot center aisle. It was either left off the plans or they just forgot and did 80 lanes straight across. So at one point, and there are photos, it was lanes 1 through 80 and then lane 81 in the pro shop area. But at some point they said they had to remove 2 lanes in order to put in center aisle, which isn't even in the center.
Right. That's what I was going to get at. It's not in the center.
It's not in the center, just based on where they're able to work it out with everything happening behind the lanes, the pin setters, and pretty amazing stuff behind there. But yeah, so they took out 2 from the best place. It happened to be between 28 and 29. and covered up. There might even be 2 lanes underneath the carpet there of where center aisle is now, or off center aisle. And then they just renumbered the lanes except for the one in the pro shop area. And then when they went downstairs, they started with lane 82, I believe. So it's it's urban legend. I never really heard if all of that was true or not, but it certainly makes sense and it adds up. And I've seen the photos as well with 80 lanes straight across. So there's your babbling nonsense of the day. And now back to the action.
Nice shot by Andrew Hall. Nice double working there. Ed Stafford letting us know that there was a 3.7 earthquake in Mina, Nevada over an hour ago. Earthquakes are scary. They're a scary thing.
How big did you say the earthquake was?
3.7.
3.7. That's not an earthquake. That was the train that's shaking the concourse here at the National Bowling Stadium. Come on, man. I grew up in California. Incidentally, the biggest earthquake I've ever been in was when I lived in Seattle. This is a fun story. I lived in Seattle because I was one of the first employees hired to work for the PBA when the Microsoft group bought the tour. And at the time, it was just Chris Peters and I on the 28th floor of a building in downtown Seattle. I think it was the 3rd tallest building on the West Coast. And so I think it was a magnitude 7.1 earthquake. And Chris Peters, the Microsoft executive who was the leader of the group that bought the PBA, had never been in one before. And I'll tell you what, I've been in some big earthquakes, some 7.0s, 6.9s on the Richter scale. And it's a little different when you're in a skyscraper on the 28th floor. We were in the building and you could see the whole Puget Sound from our window. And literally the building was quaking back and forth. So you could see like the west coast of the Puget Sound and then the east coast of the Puget Sound and then the west coast of the Puget Sound and then the east coast. And then after it stopped, the water in Puget Sound was shaking like a bathtub. It was absolutely insane. And there were a couple buildings down below that in a part of town called Pioneer Square that literally just fell apart. They were old brick buildings that were built in the early 1900s, and they just fell to the ground. So it was, 3.7. That ain't an earthquake.
What a world! What a world! And some earth shaking down on 25 and 26. JT Justin O'Shaughnessy with the front 8. I believe that's where Mike Flanagan.
That is where Mike flipped off to. Yeah.
25 and 26. Spent some time down there. I like his chances. If it was 29 and 30 or anything right of center aisle, I'd like his chances even better. But of course, Junior Team USA member knows how to throw some strikes. We'll see if this could be the one.
Well, the word on the street is that, and I think this is typical of the stadium, but word on the street is they're hooking a lot more down at the low end, which I think they always do, but it's a little bit more conducive to high scoring, and we're actually seeing that in front of us now with Belmo and AJ Johnson. They came from the low end, and at least Belmo hit him pretty hard on the low end, and now he's up in the middle of the center and struggling for 170. So
Well, I would say traditionally for our national events, the lower side probably gets more play than the far high side, just based on our setup. And then even after that, we'll start at center aisle and work our way out. So the far end may get less play than that. So all tricky, all good theories over the years, right? As the lane panels have changed and been leveled, and some of those things just are permanent and a permanent part of the conversation. But I'm sure that there's somebody who has bowled well or done something cool on every pair in that house. And
yeah, sure. Right. Yeah, I was just gonna say, and it was interesting in Mike's vlog that he came out with the other day. Norm Duke was talking about the topography maps, and he basically said, if the pattern were a little softer, the topography maps wouldn't matter as much. But because the pattern's so flat, those topography maps are important, because it gives you, the lay of the land of the slopes and the valleys, on the pairs. Now, like you said, Matt, the lanes have been recently leveled, and they are about as flat as you can get a bowling center. So they're in fantastic shape. But like you said, that low end tends to hook more. That could be just because there's a little bit more play on those lanes, and they're a little more worn in.
Well, Justin did not strike in the ninth, 7 spare. So we'll get the update here in a minute. But correct me if I'm wrong. You might know and remember from your days. But 25 and 26, I feel, is traditionally the TV pair, at least for events that we've had. And we know Mike Miller bowled 300 at the National Bowling Stadium on TV. And I feel that that's where that would have happened.
Yeah, and Parker did too, right?
Parker did have one. Yeah, I'm going to look these up because I can.
Was that at the stadium? I think it was.
Parker's was, yes, during this event, the Masters. All right, so there's a confirmation. Mike Miller's was on 25 and 26. Now we'll see what Parker.
Going back and watching old YouTube videos, Matt?
Google and YouTube, right? Anytime you need to find something about anything, that's the place to do it. So when you see the old history on Bowl TV later, you'll know what was happening.
I believe Mr. Bone was playing against Mr. Albee that game, was he not? Or did he bowl Albee the next game and lose?
You're correct. He went on. It was Parker, Chris Sand, and Mike Mullen in a shootout.
That's right. Yes, that's right. Yes. Well, that's not a fun break. Man, that's rough. Trying to bail out 190.
And also 25 and 26, JT. So that's the go-to TV pair. And do we know what the TV pair is for this year's Masters by any chance?
I believe it's the same, but I don't know that for sure. I do know that once the match play portion of the event starts, it will all be on the other side of the center aisle. Do we call the bracket the match play portion? Is it the bracket portion?
It's the double elimination match play bracket because I need more words in my stories.
Double elimination match play bracket. Well, the games are changing over, Matt, which means that I've got to go. So Michael will be joining you in just a second here, and hope you all are watching at home and enjoying the coverage here from the 2021 USBC Masters.
All right, JT, thank you, and we'll talk to you soon. Michael, we're looking at the final frames here of game number 3. Jason Belmonte, the 4-time Masters champ, a little bit of a struggle, unable to strike until the back half of the game here. He's going to go to the bag, it looks like, and figure something out here on the fill ball. AJ Johnson, 177, going to lose a few pins. Poston, 156, and Andrew Hall going to be high in the pair with 189.
This is a tough one, Matt. This is a really, really tough game to watch, but it just goes to show how demanding this oil pattern is.
Looks like Belmo figured something out there on the fill. Of course, the fill always strikes. But he finishes with 151, still at plus 70. So both Johnson and Belmo in pretty good shape here. Andrew Hall, not far out, right? Looks like minus 51 from here. A little hard to tell, but still plenty of time.
What line do we got? 7 and 8, Jay.
Yeah, we've got a Century Award possible coming up for Belmo here. It wouldn't shock me if he was 100 pins better on the next pair.
I like your thinking. I think he saw something, and maybe it's time to make a big move. Right? I don't think it's subtle moves at all, especially after blowing 150. It's time to just go for it and just make a big guess.
Yeah, probably just a bad pair. I mean, he was bowling good coming into it. So, hey, Matt, you know what's coming up here in the near future? PWBA season coming up, Matt. Starting on April 22nd through the 24th and all summer long, concluding at the TBD tournament, October 31st through November 1st. You got PWBA all summer long. Matt, what are you looking most forward to for the PWBA season?
I think the majors always bring some pretty rocking excitement, right? There's nothing like the emotion that we see, and I think the ladies always put on a great show, and they're not ones to hold back those feelings, and I think that's the best part. You mentioned Rocio's speech earlier. It's very Tebow-esque in the way that it inspired the young players around the world, and we've seen great emotion out of Shannon O'Keefe, and just nothing like seeing one of those ladies hugging that trophy when it's all over.
Did you catch any of that, Matt?
Did not.
Interesting situation here. Alan Smith just came up to me and talked to me and said that he's got an issue at home and needs to use his phone for a minute, and was asking permission on whether or not he could use his phone. I don't know the tournament rules of the answer to that.
I'm sure if there's something's up and it's important enough to ask, it's probably something that Damon give the okay for.
So coming into our screen now, we got Matthew Cuba, Nick Pate, John Riffle, Justin O'Shaughnessy. O'Shaughnessy had the front 8 the last game. And I went down there with the camera, and sure enough, right through the face in the 9th. I believe still bowled 260. Open frame to start things here. Nick Pate finds himself at +9. Not surprising. Justin O'Shaughnessy up to +22 after that big last game. Matthew Cuba -69. And John Riffle -82. So all 4 of these guys still potentially could make the cut. They are within distance. Oh yeah, somebody was asking earlier what ball Belmo is throwing, what he was throwing yesterday. I said I would try to get an answer to that question.
And Mike, we did not get an opportunity to discuss official standings after Game 2. And now we'll wait. Game 3 is right around the corner for standings wise. But as discussed briefly, Spencer Robar's leading the way heading into Game 3. So I did not see how he bowled in that game, but he was at +157 after 2 games today. Followed closely by Norm Duke and Jason Belmonte, both on this squad. So we'll give a clearer rundown once we get the standings after the 3rd game, if you feel comfortable with that, rather than talking about stuff that's probably obsolete at this point.
For those of you that were wondering what Jason Belmonte is using today, is he's using the pitch purple, storm pitch purple. Direct from the rep. Don't forget, we'll be back tonight at 7 p.m. for C Squad. I'm sorry, it's actually the A Squad, but the 3rd squad of the day, I should say. For the final 5 games of round 2 qualifying. We'll be back again tomorrow at 8 a.m. with C Squad taking to the lanes, 1:30 with A Squad taking to the lanes, and 7 o'clock for B Squad. You definitely want to watch that night squad on Thursday night, because that's when we cut it down to the top 64, 63 plus Buttriff. And we have had ties in the past, so we could have some extended play for sure. Just a few stats for everybody. This is the 70th edition of the United States Bowling Congress Masters. There were a few years skipped in there for different reasons, 2020 as well. Finals are to be aired live Sunday, April 4th, 2 o'clock Eastern on FS1. Make sure you mark your calendar, set your DVRs if you're not going to be home. Matt, do you know where the very first USBC Masters was held?
If I was going to guess off the top of my head, I would say St. Paul, Minnesota in 1951.
Do you happen to know who won the event?
Lee Dugard.
You know how many steps he took on the approach?
3.5. The last one was very short.
You are correct on all accounts. Did you know that this was the 12th time the Masters has been held in Reno and the 9th trip to the National Bowling Stadium since 1995 when it opened?
That does sound right. With the first few times being at the convention center down by Atlantis, 1977, 1984, 1990.
Back in 2011, we had quite a show where Tom Hess defeated Jack Jurek in the title match, 225 to 214. And do you remember what gentleman Jack did in the 10th frame?
I believe he told Tom Hess to settle down and finish it out. And he was getting a little too excited, if I remember correctly, before it was officially over.
That's right. One of the classiest moves in PBA history, certainly in Masters history. In 2010, here at the MBS, Walter Ray Williams Jr. defeated Chris Barnes in a title match, 290 to 217. Bet they weren't bowling on this pattern that day.
Huh.
And back in 2004, Walter, thank God he retired, according to Chris. Walter defeated Chris back in 2004, 268 to 239 here. Walter's bowled for the title here a lot. 2003, he lost to Brian Smith, 236 to 220. Why don't you tell us about 2002, Matt? What happened here at the Masters?
Fellow left-hander Brett Wolf did some magical things again with a blue hammer as an amateur, the last amateur to win the event. We talked yesterday about his actual prize check. The giant check from TV has been a fixture down at High Sierra Lanes for all of those years, just as a gratitude, a tribute to them and their role in the bowling community. But, good times. Brett bowled 260 plus on the TV show. Just a phenomenal performance. And now that he hasn't done cool things ever since, including the highest certified series on a sport bowling pattern of 886.
Back in 2001, Parker Bone defeated Jason Couch in the title match, 248 to 237. I remember that one. That was a heavyweight battle right there.
Just while you were away, I was watching some YouTube clips. We were trying to figure out some of the history of the pair that you were headed to, 25 and 26, which traditionally has been the TV pair. So both Mike Miller and Parker Bone III had their 300 games on that pair of lanes, and Justin Oshak Hennessy was about to add his name to the list and came up a little bit short.
I was here for Mike Miller's 300 game. There was a Junior World Team Challenge event taking place here that week. And we got to watch the TV show. I don't remember the timing of that because it's kind of weird the two events happened at one time. But I think the pro event was like the week before, and then we bowled the weekend or something, and then they had the TV show. I don't remember exactly, but it was right here at the National Bowling Stadium, and I remember they had gold pens, and Mike Miller bowled that 300 game. And you talked about Albee as well. Albee defeated Parker Bone 224 to 192 here, and Parker bowled that infamous 300 game, as you said, against Chris Sand and Mike Mullen, actually, to advance. A lot of lefties there for a while. Albee also winning in 1995, defeating Mark Williams in the title match, 200 to 187, and that's more like the scoring pace we're seeing here this year. Well, Matt, since I'm really stumping you with the trivia here, do you know how many past Masters champions are in the field here this year?
I want to say the answer was 6. Or it's a trick question because there is one less past Masters champion than there was yesterday when this question came up.
That's true. Sean Rash, if you're just joining us this morning, decided to withdraw from the tournament because he didn't feel well and wanted to take every precaution necessary. A real classy move by Sean Rash. So the answer is 6, including Sean, 5 without Sean. Jacob Buttriff won in 2019, Andrew Anderson in 2018. Jason Belmonte said, you know what, I'm just going to dominate this event in 2013, 14, and 15. Take a year off in 16, even though he did bowl, but he just decided to take the year off and then won again in 2017.
The one is a real stumper though. Always is the wheels turn when somebody always asks who won in 2008 after Sean Rash won at Miller Park in 2007, and nobody ever gets this one right. It's just, I guess it's more forgettable, or is it unforgettable?
2008.
Yes, sir.
Was that Scroggins?
No, sir. See, it's the hardest question in Masters trivia, and the answer is that there was no event in 2008.
Oh, okay.
We shifted the time of year. That's the same reason there was 2 events in 2004, is because it shifted on the PBA schedule. So you'll see there was one in October, and then there was another one in January, or January then October, and then in 2008 we had it in the fall, and then 2009 happened in Las Vegas on the Open Championships lanes early in the year before the Open Championship started. So there you go.
Yeah, that was 2016, the year that Belmo didn't win, was Anthony Simonson. Sean Rash won in 2007 and Norm Duke in 1993. So a little bit of history about the USBC Masters we'll continue to share with you throughout the event. Got a question from Ed wondering if Aaron Smith is going to be joining us today. He's on assignment. ITC Sectionals assignment show today. He will be back tomorrow to join us. So we appreciate you hanging in there with us with Matt and I. My name is Mike Flanagan. I'm here helping out from Inside Bowling this week. It's a privilege to bring you the greatest bowlers in the world here on Bowl TV. We do have a standings update over on bowl.com. Spencer Robarge is now plus 163. He leads the event. He bowled 680 his first 3 games. Michael Howellman bowled 646. He sits at plus 125 and has jumped into second. Norm Duke also bowled 646. He's jumped up into third at plus 110. Andrew Anderson bowled a nice 692 to get things started, plus 103. Frankie Lavoie bowled 631. He's at plus 85. A.J. Johnson bowled 570 and has dropped down to plus 82. Cortez Schenk, 649, improves to plus 76. He's in 7th overall. Stu Williams having a nice day at plus 680, or he's bowled 685 at plus 73. Belmo, kind of a crazy day, 268, 229, 151. He bowled 648 and has improved to 9th position at plus 70. Cameron Crowe plus 60, Mitch Hupe plus 45, Justin O'Shaughnessy plus 22, Nick Pate plus 9, Rasmus Edval plus 3, Michael Davidson plus 1, and Thomas Larson even. And those are players on this squad.
I just left. I just centered. Yeah. To me, I touched it 2000. That's what Timmy said. You guys agreed on. Good. So we figure it in last game for 2 teams to get. I mean, it's here. Like Brad used a high road. Same with Kyle. Yeah. I could throw to them.
Switching it up here a little bit on you. Moving things over to lanes 47 and 48, just moving around a little bit. We've got Ryan Powers, Greg Thompson Jr., Alan Smith, and Justin Knowles. Justin Knowles at minus 39. Greg Thompson at minus 20. Alan Smith at minus 138, and Powers at minus 188. Ben, I see in the chat about the Southland Conference Championship a couple weeks ago. Yeah, 5 of the 8 Southland teams are headed to the NCAA Championships as announced today. That's awesome. We were wondering about how many would make it out of that conference. Justin Knowles looking for a double here late in the game, and really bad break leaving the 8. Thanks for letting me know, Ben. Bill O'Neill had 226. Francois Lavoie, 248. So I believe Lavoie goes to the lead. Or close to it anyway. Not quite there. I'm not sure what Robarge is bowling this game. But I can go look here on live scoring. Robarge can strike out for 203 this game. Andrew Anderson bowled 198. Best Norm Duke can do is strike out in the 10th frame for 190. Packy Hanrahan bowled 188. Just checking on some pairs. ALS, Anthony Lavery Spar, 227, game number 4. Glad you're with us here on Bowl TV. Mike Flanagan with you. Matt Cannizzaro also been joining me throughout the broadcast today, along with Jason Thomas. Coming into game number 5 of qualifying here for the second day of qualifying at the USBC Masters. We've got C Squad out on the lanes. A Squad will take to the lanes tonight. At 7 o'clock, we'll be back with you today. We'll look and see where the bowlers settle in. Also, a great opportunity to let you know upcoming coverage here on Bowl TV. Like I said, tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. We'll have A Squad for you tonight. We'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern for C Squad, 4:30 p.m. for A Squad, and 10 o'clock for B Squad. Back again on Friday with the double elimination match play bracket. That'll conclude on Saturday, and then we're going to hand off our coverage over to FS1. Make sure you mark your calendars for that one. I'm here at the wonderful Bowl TV Studios West. You got me this beautiful sign here. Comfortable chairs. Not too bad. Game 4 is just finishing up in a few spots here, so I think we'll go to 45 and 46. I see PJ Haggerty coming into camera range, so let's head out to lanes 45 and 46. We're gonna have Zeke Bate, Jesse Fromeyer, PJ Haggerty, and Matt Hibbard for you here in game number 5. Zeke minus 61, still within striking distance. Jesse's got a lot of work to do there. PJ Haggerty hanging right around the even number. He's a +2. Matt Hibbert at minus 93. The interesting thing about Haggerty is he was a very accomplished youth bowler. He's gone on to have a pretty nice regional career, but he's got a lot of respect from some of the best bowlers on the planet, and he's good friends with a lot of them as well, and they typically rent a house together whenever they go bowl big events like this, and he likes to hang out with guys like Belmo and Bill O'Neill. So I know they're all really good friends. I know Fagan used to hang out with them as well. So it'll be fun to watch PJ attack the lanes. He's very methodical and very calculated in the way that he goes about his bowling game. He's also in the financial field as a full-time profession. So everything he does has got a bit of a calculation to it. And you know, he's a guy that when you look up and down the board here, he's a guy that could win this event. He's got enough talent to be able to put together a great week. And he's a good head-to-head match play bowler as well. And we saw Zeke Bate. I think he's most famous for how well he bowled at Portland Bowl in the PBA League when he was drafted. Zeke's won a lot of tournaments throughout the Midwest. Zeke is also a beatboxer and a dancer, a very talented one at that. He's got some videos out on the internet. So here we go. We get it going with game number 5, Zeke Bate and PJ Haggerty starting things off for us. We'll see if they're playing further out or if they're playing more in the track area. We've seen everybody play from about the 5th, 6th board all the way in as deep as about 15 or 16 on the lane. So let's take a look at Zeke. I haven't seen him bowl in a while. Looked either a little firm or that he missed it a little bit at the bottom. Here's PJ. Just right of the right rangefinder. So let's keep an eye on where he's hitting down lane. Pretty good opening shot from PJ. This event wouldn't be possible without all the great people that helped put this thing on. We've got the National Bowling Stadium. The host venue staff and support has been outstanding. The Reno Sparks Convention and Visitors Authority, our city partners here, thank you for having us. The Row, of course. The wonderful set of hotels here in Reno that everybody knows and loves. The El Dorado Circus and Silver Legacy. Can't forget about the partnership with the PBA and Fox Sports. PJ gets that one just a little bit wide. And fortunate just leave the 1-2. You should cover this with no problem. Also want to thank 900 Global, Rotogrip, and Storm, our short duration gold partners. If you're looking for a new bowling ball purchase, make sure you consider a 900 Global, Rotogrip, or Storm product. Also to Kegel, our official lane maintenance provider. And of course, the United States Bowling Congress. Players are out here for an extended period of time if they're bowling both the Masters and the U.S. Open. As soon as the TV finals conclude this upcoming Sunday, we'll be right back with you here Sunday afternoon / evening for the PTQ for the U.S. Open right here on Bowl TV. PTQ will take place at 3 o'clock is practice. 5 o'clock is roll call, and at 5:30 the players will take to the lanes and bowl 8 games. And we'll be here to bring you that at 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 on the East Coast. Might want to show up to work a little late on Monday after watching that one. So here's Haggerty up in the third. PJ didn't like that one. Fortunate just to leave the 4-7. I'm going to move us over and bring in some new players. Welcome in Curtis Lee, Jake Rollins, ALS, Anthony Lavery-Spar, and Stu Williams. Stu plus 78. Lavery-Spar plus 6, Jake Rollins at minus 90, and Curtis Lee at minus 111. We need to get Stu a black mask so that he'll match completely here. We do have a question here in the chat. Do we have a ball giveaway today? And the answer is yes, we do. We will be giving away a Storm bowling ball of choice this evening. All you got to do is be logged into Bowl TV and be watching when we pick that random moment give away a Storm bowling ball of choice. Definitely want to thank Storm for their support of this event, along with Rotogrip and 900 Global, our short duration gold partners. Don't forget that Storm Bowling is the leading manufacturer of high performance bowling equipment. Visit your local VIP Pro Shop to pick up your new Storm bowling ball, and remember to always bowl up a storm. Jake Rollins looking good on that shot. That looked perfect. Pretty deep inside angle as well. Jake Rollins now with a double. He's got a really good ball reaction the last two shots. We'll see if he can repeat it down the stretch, but that looks really good. ALS with a good look out there as well. These guys are attacking the lanes a little bit deeper than what we've seen some of the other pairs. Down on 57 and 58 if you want to check it out. Ryan Powers is working on max score 279 through 7 frames. Justin O'Shaughnessy down on 65 and 66. He's got a good ball reaction down there, it looks like, too. Spare strike, spare double. So a couple other pairs you can go check on and take a look at. Now, here's something interesting, you guys in the chat. Mike, is your phone on vibrate? Roger Nordic says, that's funny. Even Jennifer can hear it. I just told him that. He's a busy guy. No, my phone's not on vibrate. I always have my phone on silent. There's no vibrate at all. So I'm curious what you guys are picking up here. The entire building's been shaking the entire day. So I don't know here.
Michael, it's probably me. I mean, it's 2021. We got Teams and Facebook Messenger and text and emails and chats and everything. So I apologize if that's what it is. But and then every ding and dongle and gong and whatever in the headphones, and it's one of those days, one of those squads, I guess.
Okay, all right. Well, you can mute yourself if you're away for a little bit, Mr. Canizero.
No, and if it's not me, then I don't know. It's your fault.
Well, let me ask you this: has your phone been vibrating there?
I mean, it has, but no different than any other part of the week. I mean, we're as popular as anybody in the bowling industry, right?
That's true. I'm actually going to bring us up on the screen real quick. I just want to show you guys the example of a good teammate. Okay, he didn't have to come on because he's in the middle of working on some other things. He didn't have to come on and own up to that, everybody. So I just wanted you to see that this speaks to this man's character.
Well, and just to clarify, we are here 24/7 to answer the questions and the calls, whether it be in the chat room or by message or messenger or whatever it is. We are available, and just those sounds is proof of that. So we're here. Your membership dollars hard at work.
So there you have it. You know, Matt's been pretty silent over there from what I've been able to hear. But I guess he's had his mic on the entire time. So I haven't heard any coughing or sniffling. I thought it was just me. That's pretty funny. Belmo having a bad game here. He's down on lane 17 and 18. He's thrown one strike, 3 opens, and staring at a big nasty split in the 7th.
So Mike, we're getting down to the final frames here, huh? It's getting, I would say it's getting exciting, but it's about one day too soon for the excitement. I can tell you that after 4 games, Spencer Robar's 1 pin ahead of Jason Sterner's pace. So Spencer would need to bowl 200 or better to stay ahead of our earlier leader, Jason Sterner. However, Micah Holloman very close behind. Spencer at plus 153. Micah Holloman at plus 148. Francois Levant at plus 133. And Andrew Anderson down at plus 101. All of those guys within striking distance. Jason Sterner finished at plus 152. And thanks to the gift of live scoring, we can check in on all of these players as they finish up their final game. Holloman, best he could do is 183 this game. So he will not pass Jason Sterner. Spencer still can shoot 202. That would mean throwing the last 4 now.
Nice finish by Anthony Lavery Spar. 237 the last game gets him to 43. That's a respectable number.
Best Francois can do is 199, so he's not going to get there.
So who's going to lead this squad, Matt? Do you know who's going to lead?
Well, Spencer has to still get up for his 10th frame. He's the only one who I believe has a mathematical chance of being the overall leader.
Yeah, I was looking to try to figure out what the high score on this squad is. I see Andrew Anderson has 890. So does Stu Williams coming into this game.
Always going above and beyond. I'm proud of you. But I do believe that Cameron Crowe is going to come and chat with us a little bit about his day, regardless of how his 5 games went. But looks like he's bowling pretty well here in the finale. 29 and 30 is where he is. 236 max score for him. He was 16th overall at plus 71, so an opportunity to pick up a handful here. And
bring it back in here with you, Matt. The pair that we were watching earlier with Zeke Bate, he finished with 258. Jesse Fromeyer, 174. PJ Haggerty finished with 198, and Matt Hibbard, 247. So as soon as we turn the cameras off of that pair, Zeke Bate went sheet, and so did Matt Hibbard. So pretty good scores from where we were. The good news is everybody could watch at home by just selecting that pair.
Good momentum for them for going into the final day tomorrow, right? So All good stuff.
Yeah, and that's an interesting deal there too, because we've typically seen the big scores come early, not typically down the stretch, and that pair was able to dial it in. Zeke Bate gets himself to plus 55. That's a lot better manageable number going into tomorrow, and Matt Hibbert gets himself to plus 1.
Sorry, Bob. Please take a look at
Question: is it possible to rewatch this qualifying? Everything's archived here, right, Matt?
That is correct. If you are a Bold TV subscriber, which you must be to be watching us right now, it'll all be available in the archives. You can go back at any point. So definitely all pretty easily organized, I think, once you get to boldtv.com. And then if you just kind of go down that wormhole, you just go back another couple weeks and check out the PWBA events that we did from the ITRC in January. But a lot of great content on there, Mike.
So the question is anybody off of A squad going to be able to beat Jason Sterner? Gary Faulkner Jr., yeah, plus 103.
Yeah, he was our early leader yesterday, and Sterner was, I think, 1 or 2 pins behind him after the first 5 games. Gary has a similar look today. Obviously, he would need to be about 50 over to make a run at that, but that is the age-old question, right? Especially for the guy writing the story. Like, is somebody going to catch the leader? And typically, if you start the story, then yes, somebody will catch him. And if you don't start the story, then nobody will catch him. And they could have been written, hours before.
I'm looking forward to tonight because the A squad bowlers all were the guinea pigs. They're the ones that went out yesterday morning and had 7 players bowl plus, right? And now they watched the other 2 squads and now 2 squads today. And now they, what's going on in their heads? What are they thinking going into tonight? Are they going to attack the lanes a little bit differently? Are the lanes going to play a little bit different now that they've been stripped and re-oiled 5 more times? That'll be interesting to see how they do. I'm also interested in Matthew Zweig. I don't know much about that guy at all, but he really impressed me on the first squad.
Certainly opportunities for guys to step into the spotlight, and over the long qualifying, we get a chance to talk about them and talk to them. You're right there in person with the ability to just check in, say, hey, what's going on? What are you about before we have you on our Bowl TV broadcast?
Cameron Crowe finished at plus 107, by the way.
All right. So not a bad day for the left side, Mike. Looking at it, we talked a lot about Spencer Robards, Michael Holloman, and Cameron Crowe, all getting things done from the left side. We talked to Matt Russo earlier about his performance this morning.
Spencer Robards finishes at plus 132. Being reported in here from JT. Matt, what's it take to get a picture on the wall back there behind you? I'm interested to see if you have any wall space for sale.
We got this one right here. That was a gift. Somebody drew that. David Waswo had a friend who drew that for me. So a nice souvenir there. And then there's a little bit of room. Obviously, we got the banner. We got to celebrate the great history of the Open Championships. And the top one is actually a T-shirt from the Pan Am Games in Peru. One of the best experiences that I've ever had covering Team USA. Just being a part of that was spectacular. And then a Visiball from the 2005 USBC Open Championships, my first event with USBC. So there's plenty of room around the room. So if you want to send a snapshot, there's some space. There's a lot of credentials hanging here as well. 17 years worth of bowling event credentials on a nice little display, and an autographed Team USA photo, and of course the big diploma, University of Florida, right up there. So gotta remember that. Remember where you came from, Mike. That's the important thing.
Florida, that's the crocodiles, right? That's what I heard anyway. Yeah, well, I see some white space over there. I think a black and white photo of my face would be very well presented over there.
I feel like there'd be losing a bet involved in making that have to happen.
Okay. And what kind of mic you working with there?
Fancy podcast special. That's it. We don't mess around.
Yeah, no, it's great.
It's good. It would take a lot more to make me sound professional, but this is what we've got.
By the way, everybody, we've got the news media here as well covering the event here in Reno. So that's pretty cool for bowling that we've got the news media here.
Yeah, Channel 2 should be Channel 2 coming in. A lot of good coverage over the last couple of days. We always appreciate it. And they're already planning ahead the women's championships. USBC women's championships kicking off in less than a month. So they're already planning some coverage about the start of that event.
Again, we're just waiting for Cameron Crowe to come join us so we can talk to him a little bit about his block, see how the lanes played for him and how he attacked them today, and get his thoughts overall about the event. Youngster.
Well, we know he's hanging around waiting to get the details on the sectionals assignments.
Yeah, that show's getting ready to start if it hasn't already started. It's starting right now, I think. The show is starting right now.
He's running to watch that, actually. You should put it up on the screen while he's interviewing.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Cameron finished with 236 the last game through the last four. Pulled a clean game his last game.
You're okay.
We talked about Packy Hanrahan had 255. All right, Cameron Crowe is stepping into scene right. I'm going to bring him in at this time. Matt, take it away.
All right, Mr. Crowe, welcome. How are you today? Great.
How you
bowling.
doing? How you doing?
All
Thank
right.
you. I appreciate it.
All right, we've been keeping a close eye on you. We watched a couple games, and tell me, yesterday plus 20, today bringing out the big guns, big shots happening out there. What was the difference from one day to the next?
Yesterday I got myself in a lot of trouble through a lot of splits, but my spares were really good yesterday. That's what saved me. Today, I think I made the right moves, the right lane at the right time. Caught a couple breaks that really helped me, and got a lot of nines, which is very good on this pattern. So I hit the pairs that I needed to hit, and then when they were tough, I 190'd them to death. So I thought it was a good day.
All right. What about the strategy-wise? I mean, sometimes it's just little things that make things go right? And it's all that has to fall into place. But what was the strategy coming in, and how has it really developed over the 2 days? You're in very good position now, but still one more day to go. But how is all of that developing based on what you expected coming in?
So when I when the pattern was put out, I was like, okay, urethane's out of play. But then I watched A and B squad practice, and I was like, oh, urethane's in play. So I threw urethane all the practice pretty much. Found a couple looks with something else just in case. And then the first day I was so stuck to urethane, even though some pairs didn't hook, the topography in this bowling alley is different from pair to pair. And I was just null of that. I wasn't being very intelligent with my moves. looking at that on the first day. So that's why you saw a lot of 230, then 150 or something like that. Today, if I saw it didn't hook, I didn't try to force it. I just moved and tried to get 9. Some 9s turn into strikes, and those turn into 2 teens. And that's what you need on this pattern. So
Right. Now, you've proven over the past couple of years now, as we've seen you in the spotlight, a maturity beyond your 18 or 19 years at this point, and able to recognize those things and stay calm and find the success that you have. And we talked about, this being kind of the first big event for you on the national stage beyond the team trials, of course. But you had to do some waiting, right? After 2020, the big win at the U.S. Amateur, things didn't quite go how you'd hoped, but you've stayed strong, and now here you are on the big stage. And is it everything that you'd hoped for?
And some. I came out here with the goal to just learn from these guys, see how they act, see how they move, because pros in any sport move differently than amateurs, of course. You know, how they act, how they treat themselves, how they put themselves in position in order to win. And I'm just watching around. Bowling good is just a plus. Just learning from these guys is what I came in for, and I'm doing it. So,
all right. Well, there's some other big things happening tonight. I know you're anticipating the news, the sectional assignment show. Last year, you guys were on the way to sectionals as a freshman. Big things were happening for St. Ambrose, and the momentum was in your favor. Of course, from sectionals would have been the ITCs and ISCs, and didn't quite happen. But now we're back. College bowling has happened. And the big announcement coming out in a few minutes. Talk about the anticipation of that on top of what you've experienced today. At least you have a chance now to decompress a little bit. You don't have to worry about bowling right now until tomorrow. But this is a big deal. This is something that you've been waiting a long time for, and it's going to happen this time.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. It was heartbreaking when we were on the way to sections. We were 6 hours in, and they said sections is canceled, and we were all heartbroken. We were all devastated, especially how hot of a team we were last year. We won the last 2 tier 1s, and we were like excited, ecstatic. This year is a little opposite. We started off really hot. We got a little cold towards the end, but we just hit a couple of things that we didn't match up to, which is perfectly fine. But I think our team is very capable of doing something really big with the combination of our team and a great coach. I think we can do something great.
Now, we got some compliments today. A lot of attention on your jersey. Very special jersey that you got to wear during today's 5 games.
Oh.
I know. Let's take a look, because I know that means a lot to you to have that USA across your back. Of course, your win at the US Amateur earned you a spot on Team USA and Junior Team USA. And what does that mean? Just to be able to, it's not real until you go to camp and go to the events, but it is. And now to have that on your back at one of the biggest tournaments in the world, that's got to feel pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's an honor. Like, it's still like I'm still in shock. You know, it's just I just can't believe that I'm out here with the best of the best and able to hold my own, and with the USA on my back, it just makes it even 10 times better. So I'm just thankful. So.
Well, we're certainly glad to have you representing us on the lanes, and can't wait to see what you have in store for us the rest of this week. And hopefully good luck tomorrow on to match play. And then, of course, tonight with the big news and wherever you end up, I know you guys will do great. So, Cam, thank you very much for your time. Great bowling today, and hopefully we'll get to do this again once or twice the rest of this week.
Hopefully. Thank you. Appreciate it. Go Beast.
So there you have it, everybody. That's our coverage for the second round of qualifying here today from the National Bowling Stadium. Matthew, thanks for joining me today, man.
Hey, glad to be here. Sorry for being distracted, but so much news, so much cool things, so many cool things happening in the bowling world. We got to get the news out there.
Absolutely. So make sure you come back. You join us at 7 o'clock Pacific. That's 10 o'clock on the East Coast for A squad qualifying here tonight. After that squad, we'll have 10 games in the book across all squads here from the National Bowling Stadium here in Reno. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to everybody here inside the stadium helping put this on, and those that are working hard behind the scenes throughout the country, like Matt, being able to put on this broadcast. We'll see you guys a little bit later on tonight. Have a good rest of your afternoon, and we'll see you tonight for A squad qualifying here from Reno.